I'm in the middle of doing yet another playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I've played the base version on PS4, and then played the Intergrade version on PS5. I also played Intermission. God, these names are super fun. And here we are again for the full stupid name version on Nintendo Switch 2. Yes, I'm putting myself through all those random noises made by the cast again. Let me start by saying this. This version is f***ing outstanding. I'm going to get something out of the way, which I'm sure will cause issues with someone else's view on this because I don't think exactly how they do, and that means I suck, and that means my opinion is therefore irrelevant, and okay, you get it. Prepare to be outraged. Ready? I will always prefer 60 frames per second in my games, but I have no issues whatsoever if a game runs at 30 frames per second if it's done correctly. For me, frame pacing is the primary concern. Can you deliver that 30 frames per second consistently and disperse the right way? Final Fantasy VII Remake on Switch 2 is, to my eye, flawless in this regard. After the first 5 to 10 minutes, I was completely adjusted. This is the reason why so many companies offer a quality mode and a performance mode. The visual fidelity that is here in the Switch 2 version makes up for this performance reduction in my opinion. But it's just that, my opinion. If you just cannot look at any game that's less than 60 frames per second, then cool, fine, wonderful, awesome. That's perfectly fine because that is your opinion and I'm not going to invalidate that. Now that we have that out of the way and we have an understanding of what opinions are and we won't have any problems or discourse on this moving forward, let's wrap up how this game performs. For me, it's great. Like, this is now the gold standard for ports. The game looks outstanding in both docked and portable mode, is a technical showcase for the hardware, and holds that 30 frames per second the same way I hold on to bagels. Look, I love bagels, okay, and I will not let them go. Having this game in a portable form factor at this quality is truly awesome for someone like me. The fact that I and many others are comparing this to the PS5 version and not more relatable platforms like Steam Deck is a testament to the quality of this port. As an addition to the visual and performance quality, the HDR does make a difference here for me. In both docked and handheld, it really made the game look that much better. The options to cater your experience are very nice too. You can change the camera field of vision, adjust camera distance and speed, a few accessibility options. What's been included here is really nice. Regardless of what I say, here's your best option. If you have a Switch 2, go download the demo and decide if it works for you. Or simply watch the footage I've thrown up on the screen here. So, that's the quality of the port, but what about the game itself? Well, I do have more in-depth thoughts on this game and Remake/Rebirth series as a whole in a different video. I do recommend checking that one out, but if you want the quick and dirty version, the game is absolutely fantastic. I wasn't a Final Fantasy fan before this game. I had an appreciation for some of them, like Final Fantasy VII, and could understand why others loved this series so much, but for me personally, I just didn't care much. Remake changed that. Without relying too much on nostalgia, it manages to get the feel of the original without being fully dependent on that aspect. The characters and flow of the main story are so well done, it's hard to find flaws. But there's one I'd like to point out: side quests. Sure, they're optional, but I would hope that the side quests would give you a helpful boost in progressing through the game. Outside of perhaps getting some experience to level up your character if you happen to fight during a side quest, and some of the side quests offering actual useful rewards, a lot of these are just fluff. Now, in a way, they do help in building this world and giving life to Midgar, but I'd honestly recommend sticking to the main story if you're jumping into this game for the first time. Take on some of those side quests along the way, sure, but just be cautious. The amount of side quests could affect how the game flows for you. There's one minor gripe that I have toward the end of the game, but I don't want to spoil it, and truly, it's incredibly subjective. There's a sequence where the game essentially forces you to, let's say, play specific ways. I didn't care for this much after putting so much time into figuring out my favorite playstyle, only to be told, nah bro, do it like this, okay thanks, bye! Outside of the above two very minor complaints, let's talk about the 3 biggest pros of this game, and boy are they big. First, the visuals. Not just the previously mentioned tech, but rather the art direction. These designs pay homage to the source material, but modernize everything just the right amount, and it's all just beautiful to behold. Whether it's Cloud's parachute pants, Barrett's sexy hairy chest, Aerith's incredible bangs, or Tifa's amazing color scheme, it all feels incredibly well thought out. Second, the audio. The soundtrack in this game is phenomenal, and the remixes and revised versions they created for this version are so damn good. Seriously, I didn't even have a ton of nostalgia for the original game, but the music in Remake made sure that I still got hit with it somehow. In addition, the voice acting and audio cues throughout are all top-notch. Every step, kick, swing of a sword, shot from a gun arm, all the sounds in this game are expertly crafted and implemented, and it heightens the experience. This version maintains the quality of the audio as well, which is very nice. The final and what I think to be the biggest pro is the gameplay. Goodness, this battle system rules. Though the sequel to this game, Rebirth, improves on the gameplay in almost every way, this starting point is still just so good. There is a lovely blend between turn-based and action-based combat. You will fight enemies where they are. You don't go into a separate battle arena every time you encounter an enemy, and you will push a button to attack. But each character has a unique button, typically the X button, that does different things. For instance, when playing as Cloud, when you select the X button, he changes his stance to a much more brutal style of attack. You may take more damage when blocking, but if someone attacks you, you will counter and just absolutely wreck them. Or if playing as Barret, you will fire off a superpower shot, or build up said shot. But it doesn't stop there. By pressing the left trigger, you slow down time to a crawl and can choose actions to perform. This could be for the character you're currently playing as or anyone else in your party. These can be special abilities, spells, items, or summons. But there's even more to it. Not only can you direct every party member to do specific actions, you can switch between each character at will. This combat system is so simple to pick up, yet gets so incredibly in-depth the further you play, it really amazes me to this day. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade was already a fantastic game, and with this port to a new platform, returning to mainline Nintendo systems after all these years, it's great to see Square Enix put in the time and effort to ensure this is worth your while. I highly recommend this game, and I also recommend checking out my other video on it. Now excuse me while I get back to my random noises.